going on. It's not for lack of assistance. It's just making sure those assistance, that has been provided get to the people themselves. Haiti is not alone in this problem. Most of the, so-called third world countries go through the same thing. The question of, things getting to the people who are supposed to receive it without going through the pockets of the politicians. That's the big problem that Haiti is facing currently, apart from the political issues, that have to be resolved by November. Is who is going to handle, this $10 billion in aid. Because basically from what I've heard from international relief agencies, the country has to be reconstructed completely. At least the capital has to be reconstructed from bottom to top. The buildings have to be built differently. Instead of the shacks, they have to be built with earthquake specifications. This is very important. So that has to be done. The ports have to be rebuilt. The airports have to be rebuilt. Schools have to be completely rebuilt. So almost everything in the country has to be rebuilt. Absolutely, to be able to withstand.
And they don't have the resources nor the skills.
Exactly.
In many instances to talk about rebuilding.
That's correct. They don't have the resources or the skills.
Even if you wanted to try to use them as local laborers, without the skills, it would be very, very difficult to. And without machinery, without the infrastructure. Dr. LMadu, that really sounds almost like a hopeless kind of situation. I mean, really, it's difficult to see. As long as it appears to me, as long as the French held that grip on the financial resources, and now after that has been relented, you get the earthquake, and now it seems that the government is almost as bad as the French was toward its own. I mean, is that a cynical point of view, or does that make any sense?
It makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. In fact, if you talk to the Haitians on the streets, they will echo the same thing you're talking about. I just spoke to some of my friends in Florida who are Haitian activists. They felt hopeless about the situation. There's nothing encouraging, because even those who sent, monies and all this to their families, still don't think the government is capable of doing anything. And so from what you've just articulated, yes, they don't have the skills and the basic infrastructure to even, do anything.
Help themselves.
Help themselves. So what will happen? You have to have expatriates come into the country to do these jobs. So instead of those dollars, getting inside the pockets of Haitians, it will be going outside, because these people from outside have to be paid, and they're not going to keep that money there. You see, so it's a very big problem. It's kind of a vicious circle, So the 122 years of paying France, and then from 1947 till today, when you can say the Haitian government has been getting money, still there's nothing in the treasury, to do anything at all. They're always in the red. I know when Aristide was there, whenever I talked with him, he said, government doesn't have any money. When he was put back in power in 1994, Clinton had promised, $500 million, $500 million for immediate aid to Haiti to help Aristide reconstruct and build schools and all this. But when Bush came in, Bush just clamped on the money.
Okay.
And with that money, Aristide couldn't do anything. So people started rebelling and rising and complaining about no schools, no food, not all of this. So it's a vicious circle, unfortunately.
With almost no end in sight in a real sense, because there's nothing that the United Nations can't do too much beyond what it has tried to do.
Absolutely, absolutely nothing at all. And then also add what you call the racial problem.
Okay.
Yeah, you have the mulattoes and then the real blacks. That's another big problem again. Most of the mercantile elite happen to be mulattoes who make all the money, don't pay any taxes, and keep the money outside. And then the majority are what they call the real blacks, who don't have any money. Nothing is happening.
This is just reminiscent of the whole slave structure that still remains there, and it's just done on on modern cloth.
That's correct.
That's
And
essentially-
I mean, you just articulated it correctly. Yeah, still.
Okay, and of course, Dr. Madu, we're going to have to end this
disguise.
today. Let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.